So if you could be here around 9, that would be great. Okay?
Well, listen here.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of 90 Day Fiancé MK Classic Edition. I'm Mr. O, and today, Miss H and I will be discussing Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2 of 90 Day Fiancé. We'll meet a whole new cast of characters, some forgetful, some legendary. Just a reminder, this is the first time Mr. O has seen these episodes, but Miss H is very familiar with all of these couples. Of course, as always, we'll end with Students of the Week, Class Dunces, and Life Lessons. If you like our podcast, please leave us a rating and review wherever it is you listen to podcasts. Okay, hope you enjoy. Stay tuned.
Hello, Mr. O.
Hello, Miss H.
How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Getting through this first full week. Ugh. I wish I could come back to 5 full days of work. That's terrible.
Well, only 2 more weeks until winter break, right?
That's right.
Okay, so I am so excited about this season. There is so much going on, and I kind of forgot how we have a lot of drama. Yeah. So season 1 was a little bit on the slower side, I want to say.
Yeah, I would say that. Short on episodes, though, so it kind of kept moving, but there wasn't a lot of drama.
Right. And I think, like, what's a telltale sign of that there's not a lot of drama is everybody from season 1, they're still married, and all of them have one child. So, you know.
Exactly one child.
I kind of feel like they were stable-ish couples.
Right.
You know, they are building their little families, whether or not they become big families in the future. But they're all kind of in a stable place. And so I kind of feel like that's good for them, but doesn't really translate to very exciting television all the time.
Right. I mean, I can kind of see from these first 2 episodes, me watching them the first time, that it's, I don't know, I can kind of already see a lot of the tropes that kind of that keep coming up in the series, in the seasons after it, later ones, are really starting to develop in this one. It's maybe tropes that weren't really there in the first season.
Yeah. So just as kind of like a, Mr. O spoiler alert for you, half of these couples are still married and half of these couples are divorced, like currently. So it'll be interesting to see what your take on and who you think will make it and who you think won't.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. So think about that for a second.
I will.
Okay. Who do you want to start talking about first?
Let's start with what the show started with, which I think is Justin and Evelyn. Okay.
Justin triggers me. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Justin, and I'm going to think this for the rest of the season, Justin reminds me of not quite exactly, but I get the vibe of Will Ferrell's impression of George W. Bush.
Okay.
He's like, I just give him to be like, strategery. That's the vibe that he gives me. And so I can't unsee this.
So we have Justin, 34, from San Jose, California, and his partner is Evelyn, 29, from Santiago de Cali in Colombia.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And Justin is a elementary school gym teacher, which 100% fits. He is definitely one of those gym teachers that throws a bunch of basketballs out into the gym and is like, there you go, I'll be over in the corner.
Don't bother me, I'm hungover.
Yeah. Play some basketball.
Yeah.
If you want to do dodgeball, it's fine too. Whatever.
Yeah. So he meets Evelyn while he is at a World Game in Colombia, and they meet each other at the hot dog stand.
Mm-hmm. Meet cute.
Yep.
Classic.
Yes. It very much was. So what did you think about them as a couple overall? What was your first impression?
He just seems, I would say he seems like he needs a mom more than he needs a girlfriend.
He has a mom? Oh, you mean at his house?
At his house.
Clean up and
that's what he wants. That seems like what he wants.
Wants.
He's kind of in that. Yeah. He wants one of those barefoot in the kitchen wives, and that's always
He definitely showed her where the washing machine was and where he keeps the cleaning supplies, and he didn't go out of his way to show her the dirty dishes, but she found those on her own.
She found those on her own. He pointed to the dishwasher, I think.
Right. Okay, so let me tell you why he triggers me.
Okay, because he calls
This
himself Hugh
guy-
Hefner Jr.
What's that?
Calls himself Hugh Hefner Jr. at some point.
Oh God. That kind of is tied into it.
Okay.
Because this guy is like all the douchebags that I've ever dated. Just the look, like just how he is, like he triggers me for sure. I can't even deal with, like, I just wanted to like scream at my television every time I saw him.
Yeah.
So anyways, he proposes after the second trip to Colombia, and maybe the other thing that triggers me too with him is that he hasn't told any of his family anybody,
Not his
no
family,
one,
anybody.
right, that he is engaged. He hasn't told anyone.
Right. That's wow. I don't even know. And so we haven't gotten to it yet. I'm kind of excited in the future to meet his family because I want to know what he's so scared of, because he's clearly scared to tell anybody.
Yeah. At first I wondered, a little bit if it was just that he wanted to keep living that bachelor lifestyle, and it's easy when his fiance doesn't live there, so
Right.
he can act like he's all single. And I'm not saying that he would cheat on her, but this is the kind of guy, and once again, like, I know I'm projecting a lot, but he's the kind of guy that thrives on attention. And that's why he's like this little player, and it's not necessarily about sleeping around, especially if he's committing to someone else, but it's about how like getting that female attention makes him feel. And so I can kind of see him being the kind of person, on the one hand, who one of the reasons why he wants to keep her a secret is because he wants to continue like making himself available to others.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess they could be, because then he could get caught and they'd be like, why did I see you? Yeah, maybe. I could see that. I don't know. He definitely does like attention, and he likes... I'm sure, he's a good enough looking guy and a confident enough guy that I'm sure he doesn't have too much trouble, finding women that will give him attention.
Oh, yeah, he has no problem getting women. I'm pretty sure of that, because like I said, totally triggered. But they meet, he meets up with his old roommate Matt, who actually Matt kind of gives some insight as to why he thinks that he hasn't told anyone. He says that Justin is someone who's easily influenced, a simpleton, if you will. And so he doesn't think that people would be supportive of his relationship with Evelyn. And so if he were to tell everybody, if Justin were to tell like his friends or family, they would all try to talk him out of it. Like, no, dude. And he's a dude.
They
this
would
guy's
just
a dude.
try to talk him out of it. They would successfully talk him out of it.
Yes, dude, this is a bad idea. She's only coming here for a green card. And he'd be like, oh, maybe
is he a dude
she is.
Is he a bruh? I think he's a bruh. Bruh. Come on.
Both.
Bruh.
He's both. Yeah. But Matt describes Justin as the blue-eyed Alec Baldwin or Hugh Hefner. I was like, oh, God. God.
I don't know. I don't have any guy friends that I like get enough involved with their sex life that I would be able to talk about, like, give insight into their sex life. That is their life, and if you're gonna go over there and pick up those women, okay, I'll catch you later, man. Bye.
Wait, why do I have guy friends like that? They tell me way too much, like,
I don't know,
to the point where I kind of like have to look at them and be like, you remember I'm a woman, right? This is not locker room talk. Like, don't tell me stuff like that. I just don't want to know.
I don't know. I've never had, because that came up with Trump when the tape came out. Like, I've been in locker rooms and we didn't have conversations like that. I don't know. I don't care.
I don't know what it is, but I'm like privy to some pretty like graphic conversations with my guy friends. It mostly happens when we're like diving and it's like the dive boat. It's like that becomes, oh my gosh. Yeah, I hear more than I should. Okay. But okay, it does give me some hope for Justin. As much as he comes off as like this douche, he says that he thinks Evelyn makes him a better man. And so it's kind of like, okay, I like to believe that,
And that's
You
just
at
'cause-
least acknowledge that you're a
That's not just
certain
because
way.
his apartment's going to be cleaner.
Oh, yeah, he'll be a cleaner man. That's
Right.
That's different than a better man. Yeah, he does a pretty good job. He decorates the room with custom balloons. That
Custom
was
balloons.
fancy touch.
He got the
He picked-
little banners that say "Te amo," so at least
Yes.
there's some sort of outreach to Spanish there.
Right. Thank you for that. And then he goes to pick her up in a stretch limo. Okay, I have to say, this guy's a teacher. A single guy on a teacher's salary. How are you affording this?
That's a good question. Because I'm sure I don't know. I don't think he's really living budget, especially, I don't know, when you talk about him being like a Hugh Hefner Jr. I also imagine, you know, he's probably going to a lot of Sharks games. Like, he's probably going to like Warriors games. Like, he's probably spending his money at like clubs and bars and stuff too. Like, I don't know.
Right. I mean, he doesn't seem to be living an extremely extravagant lifestyle, but at the same time, he's living in San Jose. I mean, there's like a whole thing up in that Bay Area about how teacher salaries do not match the cost of living.
Nothing matches the cost of living.
Right. But like specifically in that area, they were talking about how do we solve this problem? We need teachers to live in the area. We can't afford to pay them enough to live in the area. How are you going to recruit talent? So, I mean, that's definitely a conversation that they're constantly having. So I get that he isn't like living above his means. It doesn't appear to be. But at the same time, like, I don't know, renting a limo, that seems... Taking trips to Colombia. How is he affording this?
I mean, because he went to Colombia to watch soccer games.
Yes.
Like, so, yeah. I mean, he's definitely a jock.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt about that. When he was like talking about why are the dishes in the sink, he was like, because I gotta watch the game. The game was on.
That seemed really staged to me.
But yeah, also true.
Right. So he picks her up, and she feels like a little star.
Mm-hmm. He didn't have flowers. Yeah. He had a camera. I noticed that. I was trying to keep track of who had what at the airport.
Right. He was fumbling around to get it to work.
Right. And for some reason, when he was like walking around the airport, you know, because they always do that scene where they're like looking around the airport and trying to find it. They kept like doing crotch shots for some reason. Like the camera was just like fixed right on his crotch.
Please, no. Why?
Like, no. Why are you doing this?
Yes, why are you doing this? Please stop. I'm not about that life. Oh, goodness. Okay, so yes, going back to the Evelyn sees the dirty dishes.
Now, this
he
is
says
the morning.
he just
This
wants
is
to
after
watch
the morning,
the game.
right? Because
he
said like, yeah. Because he said at some point he said something to the effect like they were going home, how he really felt the love, and again, this is another time where people get confused. That's an erection. That's not love. That's what you're feeling. Because we had Alan in the first season. Alan, but we had Alan was like, I've never felt this feeling before.
They keep coming up. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So Evelyn, I put on here, is not equal to Cinderella, because it kind of seems that's how he's treating her. She can be queen of the kitchen, but I'm king of the bedroom. I was like, oh god.
The whole point of Cinderella is that she got away from having to do all the chores from everybody.
Right.
That was the reward at the end of the story.
Yeah. So Evelyn learns to drive.
In an F-150. Who the hell teaches somebody to drive for the first time in a giant pickup truck? I mean, that's clearly what he has. And he's definitely the kind of guy that would drive an F-150.
Oh, I know. Okay, so I think the one benefit of learning in a really, really big car is that when you're in a really, really small car, it'll be easier, right?
Right.
There's less of you to move around. Yeah, but then if you ever go back up, it's very difficult. I used to drive a Mini Cooper, and it was difficult for me, like when I'd have to drive a van after. It's like Mini Cooper to minivan. It was definitely a challenge.
That's the thing.
I'm like, I feel so big. I don't know where I am. Okay. So they go to eat with Matt and his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And then Matt says that Justin hasn't spent 7 days with any girl. That does not sound promising.
Oh no, Matt. I mean, Matt was walking that fine line between busting his balls and like throwing him under the bus. Like I don't know. He was like, it seemed like it was a little more like, no, I kind of like my, bachelor friend that I can know I'm better than. I like having that guy around. I don't want him to be married and like settled down.
Yeah. So Matt already is foreshadowing by bringing up Justin's sister-in-law, Jen, who he calls Darth Vader.
Right. Well, I guess we'll find out. I don't know anything about Jen.
But if it were up to Justin, he would never have her meet the family, and he just wants to get eloped.
They want to, I think an elopement. I think we both get, that was one of those George W. Bush things. How about an elopement? That is the
he
best
does squint
option.
his eyes a lot, doesn't he? He does. He says he wants it to be the right time when they meet. But, I mean...
It's never going to be the right time. Every time people are waiting for the right time, it's never going to be the right time.
Exactly. That's like when you say, oh, we'll get married at the right time, or we'll have kids at the right time. Mm-hmm. Never is going to be the right time. Exactly. All right. So, I feel like drama up ahead, but they weren't particularly interesting in the first 2 episodes.
No, he was just kind of douchey, and she was kind of there. I didn't get really much of a feel for her personality.
Right. Okay. Who do you want to talk about next?
All right, let's do it.
Who did you find the most interesting? Compelling?
Compelling was probably Chelsea and Ymir.
Okay. All right. So we have Chelsea, 25, from Galesburg, Illinois, and Ymir, 28, from Managua, Nicaragua. Mm-hmm. So Chelsea goes to Nicaragua to do volunteer work, and she meets Ymir at sounded like a mutual friend's party. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the two of them?
I don't know. It seemed like an untenable situation. Like it didn't. It is what it came up with, because I really wanted to know, because apparently Ymir is like the Nicaragua's biggest pop star, at least I hope it think. So how big is the pop star market? Okay, in Nicaragua, like.
Right.
Like it could be like, we sold 200 albums last year. That makes me the best. Like.
Right. Okay. Yeah, when you say it from that, because I definitely call shenanigans on their whole thing. Because for one, if you try to do an internet search for Milovox, which is their boy band group, hardly anything comes up. If you look at their...
It's got to be mostly associated with the show.
Right. And I get that, we're not in Nicaragua, and that, most of the stuff is going to come up like English results. So if you try to do internet search here, it's not going to pop with the same results. But if they were really big, I feel like something more significant than their Wikipedia page, which is sparse at best.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I mean, a lot of how the rest of the story goes, the rest of it really hinges on how big of a career he had in music.
Right.
Because the whole story is hinging on him leaving his career in music to go to middle of nowhere, Illinois. Yeah.
So, Chelsea says he's a okay looking guy. Mm-hmm. And she met him at some music event, and then he calls her his gringuita.
Ew. I hate that. I hate gringo. Makes me make that noise, especially after Tim. Like,
right?
I can't.
And that hat.
And yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah. So Chelsea thinks that they'll live a more comfortable life if they go to America, and I'm pretty impressed with her Spanish. Mm-hmm.
Well, I assume, I don't know. She said volunteer work, but her based on her age and how long she's been there, I kind of assumed Peace Corps. Mm-hmm. But
yeah,
could have been a lot of things. But yeah, so
right.
And I don't know how much language training they do. And it's actually funny because I do know of a couple of like older, like our parents' age people who are still married to someone they met when they were in the Peace Corps.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so I was impressed with her Spanish, but I think they're trying to build up this whole, like, Ymir is a big fish in a little pond, but if he moves to America, he'll be a small fish in a big pond.
Which would make sense if she was like in LA or New York or like even Miami or Chicago and not in, like
Galesburg.
in Galesburg, Illinois, right? I think it's just more of a culture shock than like, like cosmopolitan Latin, center of attention to a nobody nowhere.
Right. So then we meet Gabby, who's the manager of Milovox, and he's kind of being painted as the villain.
Yes, very much so.
He is very upset that his most famous client, the lead singer of this band, Ymir, is going to move to America, and he basically blames Chelsea for the whole thing. So how does he express that to her? But he writes her a letter. Mm-hmm. He calls her selfish, manipulative, and a liar.
So I didn't see the letter. Did we see the whole letter? Because that's
no, you don't see the letter at all.
That's Chelsea's interpretation of a letter, which based on what goes down later between her and Gabby is not the most reliable interpretation of what the letter actually said.
Right, because I was going to say, I thought it was interesting that Gabby seemed to be working that PR, because what he said to her didn't seem to match what she was saying was in the letter.
Yes. Exactly.
So I don't know.
Because he had many of the concerns of this. He is a Latin musician. Mm-hmm. That's what his skills are. That's where his skill set is. And he mentioned if it's LA, if it's Miami, I could see how there would be opportunities for him. He does not see how there's any opportunities in Galesburg, Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a valid concern. So then they have this, like it looked like an album release or something at a hotel.
Yes.
And so kind of going back to that, how legit
big
is
are
this?
they? Right. If they're in a small hotel ballroom and that's their, like, not even a ballroom, like the conference room.
Yes, definitely. It was like conference room D.
Right.
It was like definitely this very small area. And so I don't know. I think their reactions to this were a lot worse than it really was. Gabby just makes an announcement that Ymir is engaged and that he's going to be leaving for America. He never really said anything other than that, and he did make Chelsea stand up, which I can understand Chelsea's embarrassment about it.
And when he made her stand up, he called her a princess. Like,
yeah,
that was the one thing he said that I was like, that's below the belt.
Yeah. But he did say it in English, right?
Yes. Oh, I don't know. Maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know. It's Gabby definitely seems a little, passive aggressive?
Yeah, and
definitely.
And understandably so from his perspective. That's his living. That's his living. That is.
Yes. Especially
that's
if there is no pop scene, like they're kind of making it sound like they are the only ones.
That she's really him leaving is really impacting Gabby's life tremendously. And it kind of bugs when people are like, but it's all about the money, man. I was like, yeah, it kind of is. I need that money to survive and to provide my family with what I've been providing them. That's why I work. But she says like he threw Ymir under the bus, and I was like, I don't think you know what throwing somebody under the bus means, because he just said exactly what was happening.
Was that it just looked like Ymir was like shocked that he said it. Mm-hmm. But other than him having his like shocked Pikachu face.
Oh, right.
I mean, there wasn't really anything else, I mean, he didn't portray him in a bad light. And going back to the how legit is it? It's not like fans are in the crowd crying because they're broken up. You know?
It also looked like it was mostly like middle-aged like reporters and stuff. It wasn't like fans there.
Yeah. I mean, even looking at that one clip of him with the fan, it's not like it was a mob of people. It was literally one single person.
Right.
And it didn't even look, I don't know, they kind of cut to the middle of it. So you don't even know. It could have just been some random person like that they hired to be like, hey, ask him for your autograph.
Right. Or it could be, the same amount of things that some podcasters get that much recognition. Like, hey, you're that person that did the thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's me. Okay.
Okay. That's interesting that you thought they were more compelling. I don't know, they're just kind of there for me. I don't really have many thoughts either way.
It just seemed weird that he was like, pop star.
It is a unique story.
Yeah.
It definitely is a unique story because we don't have any more repeat pop stars or any kind of situation. Yeah, just replace pop star with models, and then you've got probably a good chunk of like the next group, you know?
Sure.
All right.
All right, fine. Do you want to do it? There's the elephant in the room.
Oh, we're talking about Danielle Muhammad?
Danielle Muhammad.
Okay, what was your impression of her before ever watching this?
Okay, so...
Like, what do you know about her?
So, I knew that she existed, that Muhammad, basically came over for a green card and cheated on her repeatedly.
Okay.
And that she sells tea. That's it.
That's all you know?
That's all I know. And she is like, I've seen pictures of her, so I know what she looks like.
Okay, so I feel like we don't even have to do introductions, but I'll do it anyway. You have Danielle, 41, from Norwalk, Ohio. Mohammed, 26, from Tunisia.
Yes.
She is a direct support professional and takes care of the mentally handicapped. She has 3 teenage girls, and
that live with her.
She meets, that live with her. And she has 3 teenage girls that live with her, and she also has a son that is older that does not live with her. Mohammed and her met on a dating app.
They don't do any more detail than that, right? They just say dating app.
No. Yes. Yeah. They don't really say a whole lot.
There's a wide range of ways of dating apps that you can meet people on that can say a bit about your relationship before it gets started, depending on which dating app it was.
Yeah, and I feel like they're careful about that, yeah. So she's already, funding this gravy train. She's paid for all of Muhammad's travel. And then there is... did we start off with their whole thing of... okay, sorry. Let me back up for a second. So they've been talking for about 4 to 5 months, and then he proposes over video chat.
Okay.
He's never been around kids. Her kids don't want to call him dad, and so then that kind of sets up future stuff, I'm sure.
Stuff,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so already the first thing I always look at when I look at any couples is the half your age plus 7 rule. And whenever you're outside of half your age plus 7, that's red flag number 1. And this one's This one's outside of
right on the border.
It's just outside, yeah, because she's 41, he's 26, so.
Okay.
But he's also
also
the other thing you look at, he's also clearly, as far as looks go, well out of her league.
Yeah, Danielle is.
I mean, he's not like.
There are things she could do.
Oh yes, it could be better. Absolutely.
Yes, there's definitely things she could do. I think the thing that would be the best thing she could do, and I don't know, maybe I say this without really knowing what the alternative is, but like maybe getting contacts or corrective eye surgery. Because I think like her really big glasses.
I mean, you could just get different frames too. But the huge, gigantic, thick-framed, huge glasses. I think
she has a bit of a lazy eye too, and so I think all of that just is very distracting. Yeah, I also think it kind of makes her look, and I hate to say this because I know this is really bad, but it does make her look a little slow.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying.
So, but once again, these are things that modern science can fix.
Right. I mean, you can get clothes that fit. That's.
I mean, my friend. Yeah, you can do that. And I mean, she does try. It looked like she was having her daughters do her hair and makeup at some point. Okay, so this is where, to me, I sometimes forget about Danielle's early stuff. Like where I just am like, oh my gosh, this lady. She paid for all of Muhammad's travel, and he. Can't make the transfer. They're concerned he can't make the transfer because he didn't exchange money into American dollars, so he didn't have any cash to pay.
Right.
It sounded like some kind of van service.
Yeah, because like she spent the money for the travel, but she had him change planes in New York, and he had to get from JFK to LaGuardia.
Yes.
Which is, like, it's weird that you spend the money to do the travel and don't just spend the extra money that he can just get a damn plane in JFK.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll see. She's on a budget for sure. So then she's upset because she doesn't know where he is. And this is where she loses it for me. Like, she's just crying, just constantly crying.
Yeah.
And she's kind of, she reminds me of Jenny in this way, with Jenny and Summit, where it just sounds like she's always on the verge of crying, and it has to do with her voice. And it's just like, oh my gosh, yes, these ladies, I don't want to see or hear you crying all the time. And I just felt like from the very beginning, she's just crying.
And it was just like a hair trigger on everything. Like, she was like, I'm doing okay. And they're like, do you think maybe he's over there? And she's like, cry. Like,
oh my God, baby. I don't know. It could be him.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, everything. You'd be like, hey, Mom, your shoe's untied. Like, oh, what?
Oh, he does have a jacket like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It scares me how well I can do a Danielle impression. But I mean, what do you have to do but just sound like you're on the verge of tears all the time?
Now, it's also super frustrating, to be fair to her, because, I mean, like, does he have a phone that works in the U.S.? Because how do you not?
Yeah.
I landed. I'm in LaGuardia. Oh, got on the plane, like, on my way. Like, come on. That's just common courtesy.
Yeah, okay. So, and then when they actually end up finding him, he was literally standing, I want to say, like, staring at a wall. Like, kind of like, oh, come to me. You can find me. I'm in this random place. He wasn't, like, next to something that was, like, a high-traffic area.
Right, the baggage claim or
the
door that comes out of customs, right?
Random, to me, it was a miracle they found him. You know, how big these airports are. He wasn't putting himself in an area, like I said, that was high traffic. It was just, I felt like his thought was like, well, I'm here. If they find me, okay, cool.
Yeah, whatever. Which
if
means
not,
like he didn't seem all that enthused to get with, to be there.
No, that's how I took it, because she's like all kinds of stress, like, where is he? And then he's just kind of like, oh, practically hiding in a corner.
Right, because I mean, all I'm asking is just a text that says like, oh, I'm by gate 36, like, parking exit 14, like,
yeah, like I said, it's a miracle they found him. So where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. So she just keeps on saying, you know, like the all foreshadowing stuff. She just hopes she hasn't misjudged him.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Muhammad likes big trucks.
He's impressed by the 18-wheelers. I noticed that.
Yes.
That's a big-ass truck. My God. Are they all that big?
So they're talking about, you know, what he likes about her. And he says he likes her because she's honest. I'm like, oh, God.
That's like
foreshadowing.
Definitely
again.
When you're a con man. No. It's funny, though, because I actually say that, that the con men love con men. They always say that. You can't cheat an honest man. Like,
oh, that's interesting.
Because the easiest person to con is somebody, I mean, especially if it's money and you're trying to come up with some sort of scheme, the person who thinks they're in on it and is like kind of doing shady things so they won't turn you in. That's the easiest person to con. The person who's like, oh, well. Yeah, that's always been a phrase.
I feel like you know more than you think you know in this season. That you'll find out.
But like, especially when his the thing he says is that Danielle is acceptable to me. Oh
God, I know, right? Physically,
she is acceptable.
I was like, okay. That doesn't sound like love.
No, I put faint praise. I've heard the expression "damning with faint praise." Like that falls even below faint praise. Be like, that's physically, I can look at her.
When he's saying all this, I was kind of like, oh, the honest thing. I think like what he really means to say is that I like her because she's naive and gullible.
Yes. That's what he means.
Right.
He doesn't mean honest. There's a difference between naive and honest.
Yes. Right. She does come off as very innocent.
Yeah. Yeah. Gullible. But yeah. Which is weird because she has an older son that's probably from a different father, right? Mm-hmm. And she has the 3 daughters, and that father's not around. So it's not like she's new to this game.
Right. She's not innocent.
Yeah. Like she's been with people and broken up with people and been through relationships. It's not like, all it's new. But anyway.
Right. Okay. So the one thing, well, I shouldn't say one thing because there's many things that annoy me about her, but she just keeps hanging on him. Oh. Like literally like hugging him, and it's like she's just hanging on him. It's like, and it's like definitely one way. It's not like they're holding each other.
Oh no,
she's
just like on him. Yeah, definitely a one-way thing. Like
yes,
and it's
she
funny
wants
because
her cuddles and kisses.
Yeah, because it's like, he's gonna sleep on the couch because he's Muslim and he's not gonna have sex before marriage. And it's like that already is like, well, that's a convenient excuse. Good for that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, it's because I'm Muslim. Yes, that's why we won't be having sex tonight. Or ever.
Right. So Muhammad finally meets Corey, who is Danielle's son. Mm-hmm. And oh my gosh, Corey looks just like Uncle Jamie. I thought it was the same person, except for it was like, oh, younger Jamie.
Oh, yeah. He's actually kind of old. So she was really young when she had him.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it ends up he's something like 22, so she was like 19. Mm-hmm. So it struck me as
so
like
Corey
how old he was.
Right. So Corey thinks that Muhammad is only there for a visa.
Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah, you think?
Really cracked the case there, Corey.
I know. Corey, you must be the smart one in your family. Oh, these people.
Right.
Crack me up.
Oh.
I think that was all with them, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was all with them this week. And I'm sure they're on for a lot. They're on for a few seasons, aren't they?
No, I think they're on for 2 seasons, I want to say. And then they had, I want to say they had like Where Are They Now special with Danielle.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's where.
All right. So.
I don't want to spoil it for you.
Let's go to Brett and Daya.
Okay. Oh, what I thought was really funny.
Uh-huh.
Is that her name is pretty much Aya with a D.
With a D?
And she's from the Philippines.
Right.
As in Aya and Lewis.
Yeah. It is kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Aya and then Daya, and they're both from the Philippines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay.
My immediate impressions. Mm-hmm. She seems pretty gold diggy.
Yes.
And he might be the creepiest guy on the series so far.
Really?
I really think he comes super creepy. He comes off super creepy to me.
Have you identified specifically anything that you thought was creepy?
Well, first of all, yes, I know exactly what it was, and it struck me right off the top. Okay. So he says that they met on an internet. He was on international dating apps, and all of a sudden, when you're already on the I'm specifically looking at international dating apps, and not just dating apps, and I have to meet somebody international, but you're like, I want an international girlfriend. Mm-hmm. That's kind of strike 1, right?
Okay.
Strike 2s and 3s were when he said that of the international sites, he took the Philippines because they have good marriage values, and the women are cute too.
Okay.
And so I was like, red alert. Nope. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so we have Brett, 31, from Snohomish?
Snohomish, yes.
Snohomish. I had an extra syllable in there, sorry.
Oh.
From Snohomish, Washington. Mm-hmm. And he is with Daya, 29, from San Carlos City, Philippines. Brett works for an airplane manufacturer.
He works for Boeing.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
There's other ones. There's small companies, too, up there.
But Snohomish is like 10 minutes from the Boeing factory.
Okay. And he has 2 old roommates, Lou and T, who I love. They're great. He also has a 6-year-old daughter, Cassidy, who lives with her mom in Montana for most of the year and then spends summers with Brett. And then they met on an app, just like you were mentioning before. He targeted the Philippines because of family values. So I feel like white people do pretty well in Asia, specifically Southeast Asia.
Okay, so that was the other thing that creeped me out too, was he seemed to be, because he had, you're right, white people specifically looking in Asia, and like on his walls and stuff, he had like, you know, like fake Japanese posters and stuff.
Oh,
and
I hate that guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know, he definitely has a samurai sword somewhere in that apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that guy.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah. You know, and it's kind of sad. I've had a couple of white guy friends that have lived in Asia abroad for work mostly. And my one friend who lived in the Philippines, he said that it's really bad over there because they just see that he's white and they like are falling over themselves, and it's because of this perception of money. And he said it's because the Philippines is so poor that they just assume if you are white, you're clearly not from around here, so you must have money, and so that's their ticket out. And so he definitely spent a lot of time whoring around in the Philippines, which is, you know,
I know that because I have one of the women I teach with is from the Philippines, and she has to like send money back, like extortion money back, because they found out she lives in America, and the gangs are all like, "Oh, your sister lives in America? She has money. She needs to send it." Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous. Yeah. So I just feel like you don't really have to be that great of a person or great looking, if that's kind of your situation, you know, like, I mean, it helps if you're somewhat attractive. And Brett isn't ugly. He's a mildly attractive guy. I get what you're saying with the whole creepy thing. I think it's, I don't know. I kind of interpreted it more like, you know, the awkward engineer type.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it. But okay, so the other thing that I thought was just weird is because they always have, you know, the friends. So we have Lou and T, right? So he lives with them.
Who I love.
Right.
It is a weird situation, though. I kind of see where you're going with this.
That situation is whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
He's the third wheel and everything. It's fine. Right. But everybody's got to live somewhere. Some people need roommates, right?
Yes.
But then he has the other friend that he talks with is Sue.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Why is this dude only friends with old women?
Right. Yep. That's exactly where I knew you were going with that. Yeah, I did think that was weird. It's like, why does he not have any guy friends? Or
women his
friends
own age.
his age.
Yeah.
Yes. I did find that odd as well. Yeah, I was wondering, is he the only young person in this town? Maybe that's the reason why he has to go on a dating website to
it's all
find
just like
someone
ladies.
to date. Yeah.
But Sue, when he talks with Sue, she's really concerned that Dia is going to be a mail order bride, right?
Yeah.
Because apparently Sue has known like a million other people who have also done this. She's like, I know a lot of people, and they're divorced from the person that brought him over. I was like, really, Sue? How many people do you know?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Maybe that's how Brett heard about this in the first place.
This whole town is just old lesbians and mail order brides, and that's it.
Yeah. Sue's also concerned because she thinks Dia looks like a party girl. Because, you know, she saw some pictures and just seems like...
She was wearing a bathing suit or something, I guess.
Oh, my gosh. Scandalous.
Scandal. A two-piece. A two-piece. Imagine it.
Oh, my goodness. So, Brett is preparing for Dia. So, Lou is helping him. And basically, I think it's just so funny. Lou, she's a character. Just telling him, like, throw this out. It's old. It's dirty. What are you doing?
Why do you have this?
Trying to help him organize. Yeah. So she's helping him, and I think it's really nice to like have supportive roommates like that.
Right.
And they were even more supportive, and then they kind of let him have the house to themselves that first night. Yep. So, but Daya already is coming off as very high maintenance.
Right.
She's particular about things. Already going back to the high maintenance thing, she's showing Brett her eyelash extensions. I'm like, oh God. Yeah, she's gonna require a lot of
right. Well, especially and that comes off like right when she gets off the airplane, because she had the wrong flowers. He didn't have flowers. He had big flowers. Like he had a lot of flowers.
Yes.
He was not skimping on the flowers, and she immediately saw them and was like, I thought it was gonna be roses.
Right. It sounds like they had a discussion before, because he kind of knew that she would be upset about it. Like it wasn't his fault. The florist gave him
the wrong flowers.
Like the flower. Yeah, even though he had ordered it before, and he was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just take these. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he could have demanded.
Well, okay, but
roses.
She's like, okay, there are no roses in my shop. What do you want me to do? Like,
yeah,
I can give you a refund.
Yeah.
Then he would have no flowers, which would clearly be worse.
Yes. Yeah.
But what is it with people that can't get to the airport on time? Like they were late too. Like everybody was late for the airport. It's not that hard to figure out. Like you look at FlightAware.
I don't think so either.
And you time it out, and there you go. It's not hard.
Yeah. I have no idea why everybody's on the struggle bus when it comes to this kind of thing. So they're in the car with Brett and his mom. And Daya says that she thinks that the ring is fake because there's some kind of speck in it. Mm-hmm. And so she doesn't. It's like, do you not know anything about diamonds?
Right. To get a flawless diamond.
What do they call that? An inclusion or something?
I don't even know. I just know if you wanted it to be like a flawless diamond, it's going to be a lot smaller than the one on your hand if you wanted to cost the same price.
Right. Yeah, so she wants to get it checked out at the jeweler to make sure it's a real diamond. My question is, what if it's, okay, I know it is a real diamond, but what if it wasn't? What are you going to do? Sorry, I can't marry you. I'm going back to the Philippines.
He actually said that at one point. Like, she was like,
she's
we're
like,
going to get it checked out.
He's
like,
one.
And he's like, what if it isn't? What if it is fake? What if I knew it was fake and I got it for you? What then? Like.
She's like, well, you'd have to get me another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's not coming off as the best person in this episode.
No.
So she has to sleep in Cassidy's room.
Okay, right.
When she gets there. So she's not sleeping in his room. And then he does make her dinner at the house. And I softened a little bit to her because she at least appreciated something he did for once.
She was almost touched.
Yeah, almost.
Almost touched.
Yeah, she was like, oh, you thought about the fact that I didn't want to leave the house.
I appreciate the effort.
Oh. She wants to be drinking tequila. I was like, oh, she really is a party girl.
Right, yeah. Especially, well, I mean, it's not like he had like rosé too. It wasn't like it was like a dry, sophisticated wine. I'm sure it was like basically fruit juice.
Yeah, probably. Another thing pointing to her high maintenance is she's wearing the blue colored contacts. What do you think about that?
I didn't notice that. I wouldn't.
Oh, gosh. I just think it just looks so unnatural to me. I don't really understand what people are going for. Like, specifically, there's been a couple of Asians on the show where they wear like blue colored contacts. And later, there's Josh and Ika, and Josh tells her that he doesn't like them. You know, he likes because they look unnatural. So
they are.
What is the point?
I don't
no
know.
one has eyes like that. It looks weird.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like a natural blue. Because if you do the natural blue color, it's too light and the brown bleeds through. It has to be like this weird, like electric blue that is an eye color that nobody has. Right.
Yes. I think if you're gonna do like fake ones, I think ones that look good is more of like a amber color, like a brownish, but like more of a light brown, like a honey color. Like I have a friend who naturally, like she's Asian and she naturally has eyes that's that color, and it's really pretty. And you can get contacts that are that if you're really like, oh, I don't want like dark brown eyes.
I don't know.
Just a suggestion.
This is the guy for me speaking out, but I have dark brown eyes, and I've never thought about anything else about my eye color. Like, I just have the eyes that are colored like poop, and that's what it is. And so I never noticed
Fair
anybody
enough.
else's eyes because I never think about my eyes. So you said that with her, but those contacts I didn't even notice. I never noticed anybody's eye color. Unless it's like somebody has like crazy like red ones in, or like it's like the Nationals have a pitcher named Max Scherzer who has two different color eyes, and those ones are like, oh my god, like you can't miss that. But other than that, yeah.
Okay. Anything else with them?
I don't think so.
Okay. So then we have Danny and Amy. What was your first impression of them?
Oh, Danny seems, I don't know, say goody almost. And Amy seems like she doesn't know what she's getting into.
I love them. They're probably one of my favorite couples, like, of all time. And just because they just are so sweet. It's kind of like Alan and Kierlam. I think they're definitely in that same vein. I think the difference is that Danny is really young. I mean,
Danny's very young.
Alan,
right?
Yeah, Alan was a little bit older, so he didn't seem as, I don't even want to say immature, but like naive, I guess. Not as, and definitely not as. Danny doesn't seem as worldly.
That's true.
As Alan.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm curious, and we'll get into it. I'm curious as where did Danny come from? Because
what do you mean? Where did he come from?
Okay, so one thing we get into Danny is he's a very religious guy, right? And he is committed to being a virgin before he's married, and he doesn't even want to kiss Amy or anything, right? Nothing.
Yeah.
And his brothers are all like, "What the hell, man? Like what?" Like his brothers don't seem to hold the same values.
I was gonna say no. What was his name? Jose. Jose was saying that.
No,
Jose is their coworker. Jose is not.
His brothers were both like, "You don't even kiss? Like what?"
Well, because they could probably be like, "Oh, you could kiss and stop," right? It's
but whatever
whole,
it was, he seemed to take
thing.
it to a different level than even his brothers took it to.
Sure. That's true. Okay, so we have Danny, 23, from Norristown, Pennsylvania, and Amy, 21, from Cape Town, South Africa.
Which is another city that got repeated this year, by the way. That's another theme.
Yes.
Because St. John is from Cape Town.
Right. So Danny is a construction worker, and he works with his two brothers, Nick and Chuck, but he is the baby of 7. He takes a trip to Australia for a Bible class where he meets Amy, who is there for the same Bible class, it sounded like, I think.
It sounded like, yeah.
Yeah. So while they're in Australia, he proposes. So, I mean, I can't imagine how long this Bible class was for. A month at most?
No, a month, maybe. Yeah. I couldn't imagine that. More than that. That'd be a lot of Bible studying for like just studying the Bible. Longer than that, and I feel like you're in seminary. Like
Right. So he proposes while they're in Australia, and then so that's their situation. So Amy is coming on over to live not at Danny's house, but at the brother's house.
Of temptation.
Yes, temptation is too much.
So, but the brothers apparently don't live close. I was really trying to figure out the geography of this because, like, the town that he's supposedly from, Norristown, isn't that far outside of Philadelphia.
Okay.
Like, he was like, she's going to be 45 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
And they mentioned how it's in the middle of nowhere, not even close to the city. So, like, it could be like an hour and a half, 2 hours from Philly, where she is.
Yeah. Amy's going to live with Nick and Cheryl. So it sounds like most of his family, they already are married. So Danny might be the last one that isn't married. So he works with his two brothers in construction. So they kind of show him on the construction site, kind of talking about his relationship. And that's where Jose, their coworker, not one of his brothers, but a coworker, is just like, "What? You can't have sex before marriage? What, man? What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That's a thing?"
Only,
like, yes,
well, I mean, also the short amount of time that they've like, you know, talked to each other. It's
right.
Like,
Right.
win.
Yeah. So you might wonder what this couple is doing on this show because it just sounds like, you know, everything's great and they're so cute and what kind of secrets, because they don't really seem to have any secrets. But the drama from them is that
they both do seem wholesome. Wholesome is a good word. Yeah.
Yes, and not enough things to like have the kind of baggage that secrets usually stem from. But their drama or potential drama is that Amy is part African American, so black. Well, I guess we can't really call her African American because she's not American, but she's partially black.
She's black. She's mixed. She's mixed race.
Yes, and Dad does not agree with interracial relationships.
I hate. Okay, so obviously that's racist. First of all, like just to get that off the table, but like I hate that phrasing. Like I don't believe in interracial. You don't believe they exist? Like you don't think they're possible? What do you mean you don't believe in them?
Yeah,
like, it's that. So it kind of like gives what he doesn't believe. He doesn't believe they should be allowed, or he doesn't believe they are morally correct. Like, and
so
that is an active stance rather than saying I don't believe in it. Makes it sound like passive. Like like that always bothers me. I have people like say that with like about like trans issues and gay. I don't believe in gay. We don't believe in it. That's not a thing.
They are,
not a thing
whether or not you believe.
Yeah.
It's more of a fact.
Right.
Yeah. So it seems like it could be an issue. It was unclear if Amy actually knows at this point if that's a potential issue or not.
Right. And I'm curious as to whether if it is an issue, if they take it head on, or do they like try to have her pass, because that could be all kinds of
well, the other thing is that it seems
juju.
like they come from a very Christian family. So even if the dad feels this way, and I mean it could be that they're in some random town in Pennsylvania, like he is probably surrounded by like-minded people, but at the same time, if you're professing to be a Christian, it's kind of like that kind of goes against Christian values to be judgmental of others. I know.
I got some bad news about American Christians.
Yeah, I know, right?
Some American Christians.
Yeah. But, I think, like, I can kind of see it being like, well, it's okay as long as it's not too close to home. Like...
Right. Yeah.
Black people are okay in theory, but
much.
I just don't want them to be my next door neighbor.
But the people never put it even that bluntly. They're just like, there's some neighborhoods is getting worse. Like, what's making it get worse? Well, just isn't as safe as it used to be. Like,
right. Oh God.
They tend to couch it in like that kind of language.
Yeah. True. So I'm already kind of worried about Amy at this point. So Danny's helping set up the room last minute. But they're kind of talking about with Nick and Cheryl. Nick and Cheryl work all day. Danny works all day. So then the question comes up, what's Amy going to do all day?
What am I going to do all day? And they don't have an answer for her.
No, they don't. It's like, well, I hope you have Wi-Fi, like good, strong Wi-Fi. But even then, I can't imagine, like, she doesn't have a car. I don't know if she's gonna have a situation where she's gonna be able to borrow a car or what. But I can't imagine like 90 days of just hanging out.
And he when he leaves, he's like, I think she thinks I'm gonna see a lot more of her than I am. Like the implication is I will not see you every day.
Yeah,
that's like over like a weekend thing. It's
right.
Like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I think Amy's in for a long, boring time. For a situation like that, I think it would be better if she was doing some kind of like online class or something to occupy her time, make her feel somewhat productive.
But I feel like she should have known the situation beforehand, so she could have planned to take an online class. She could have planned what she was going to do. She could have brought some crochet or something. Like,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
at least the way they filmed it and framed it, it made it sound like he was like, I'm leaving now. And she's like, oh, what are we doing tomorrow? And he was like, I'm working.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, poor thing.
Poor thing.
Oh, yeah. So he's concerned that she's going to feel isolated. And 100% legit. She's going to feel isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes with Jake and Timmy. I don't know. What is it with these people that have to bring their friends to the airport to meet their partners?
I don't know.
They're kind of a fun bunch. I'm not upset about
They're
it like
funny.
the cock
I
block
liked
crew.
they gave him the appropriate amount of a hard time for having a balloon that said welcome back.
Oh, that was really funny. Yeah. So he goes to the store and he asks them for a welcome home balloon. And instead, he gets in the car and finds out that's a welcome back balloon. Okay. Why would anyone have a welcome back balloon?
It's like for, I don't know, like if somebody like,
welcome back
like-
to the hospital?
no, it'd be like for welcome back to work or something. Like if somebody gets off of maternity leave, maybe, or, you know, they got back from a long trip or they got back from the Peace Corps or something like that.
I think welcome home would be much more appropriate than welcome back.
No,
I
welcome
feel
back
like
has to be
welcome-
work. You're right. Welcome back has to be work.
Yeah, I feel like
Has to be
welcome
work-related.
home has to be like more of a catch-all than welcome back.
That's true.
Yeah, I was wondering who would ever buy those balloons. Yeah, so yep, Jake
You
and
don't
Timmy.
want that. You mean you don't want welcome back and the cancer ward at the hospital?
No, nobody wants that. That's what I'm saying. Nobody wants a welcome back balloon. Oh, so yep, Jake and Timmy help. There's a poster involved. It was very cute. So keeping on with the traditions of cute welcomes. Later on, it's
Yeah.
just like, meet me at the house.
Yeah, that was a pretty big one. That was a pretty good one. Yeah. Yeah. To tell you how to download the Lyft app, I'll be here. Here's the address.
Yeah, it gets bad later on, I feel like. Yeah. All right. So who did you think was worthy of Student of the Week with this group?
Oh, I liked Brett's roommates. Like they were the best.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I really appreciated how supportive Lou was.
Yeah. They I liked them. I liked their personalities. I liked it. I don't know. They just seem like, I know I made fun of him. His friends are all old ladies, but those are the kind of old ladies I like hanging out with. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, they seem pretty cool. I like them.
yeah.
Okay, my student of the week actually goes to Corey, Danielle's son, because he seems to be the only one who's willing to confront Muhammad about potentially scamming his mom. So,
Right.
good on him
I
for
guess
taking
he's
that
the
on.
only. He's not the only adult. He's not the only adult because
No.
I really feel worse for the three daughters who
Yeah.
kind of know what's going on but don't feel like they're in a position of enough power to actually say it.
Well, I mean, Danielle also has her brother, Jamie. Yeah, and then
Right.
Jamie's wife, too. Jamie and Erica. Yeah, so, I mean, there's other adults around. It seems like she gets a lot of help. So, but Corey is the only one who's trying to put Muhammad on the hot seat. Rightfully so.
Right. Yes. All right. What about your class dunce?
I had Daya. I'm sorry, with that ring, you're coming
The
off
ring.
as so high maintenance, and then you're making a big deal about this ring. And, you know, what if it's fake? It's like, you say you're going to make him buy you a real one. What if he can't? I mean, there's a reason why he bought you that one to begin with. Then what?
Right.
You're going to leave him? Like, do you have an end goal for this? Other than, like, it's selfish.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Yeah.
So my class dunce, there were a lot to choose from. I felt
Yes.
like could have made a case for a lot of people.
Right.
But I went for Justin just for the scene where he's like, here's all the cleaning stuff. And like, especially it was like after they had sex,
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, there's the dishes and the laundry and I'm going to go watch the game and have a beer. Like
Yeah.
just for that. Because even if it's a joke, that's not a funny joke.
Right,
That's not,
right.
It's not that's not it, man.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to my life lesson, which kind of piggybacking off of that, Handy. It's a great app that lets you, it's kind of like the Uber of house cleaning.
Wasn't there also like Fiverr? Can you use Fiverr?
Fiverr, I think, is more of like creative stuff. So it's like if you want graphic art done or voiceovers.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah.
Handy is mostly like cleaning, or they also do like handyman work. Well,
Right.
handy people work, I guess. Not to be gender specific. But things like, if you want your TV mounted, or you want like your kitchen sink, fixed. Oh, maybe you're thinking of TaskRabbit.
TaskRabbit. Yep,
yes,
TaskRabbit.
I did
That
hire
was the
someone
one.
off of TaskRabbit to reinstall my toilet. So that was actually really cheap. But but Handy. Let's not spend money on the limo. Let's spend money on a house cleaner. That way you don't have to treat your lady like a house cleaner.
Yeah, that dishes should have been done before she came back.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like,
right.
if you're really going to be that lazy, there's options. Let's throw money at the problem.
Right. Instead of throwing your penis at the problem.
God. He's more throwing penis at the solution. Because he's the problem.
All right, my life lesson. And this one goes to Danny and Amy, is that abstinence is a totally acceptable and reasonable choice to make in your own life, but it does not require that you lock your fiance in an attic.
It does kind of feel that way, huh?
It's like with Jane Eyre or like Rapunzel or something up there. Why did you lock her in an attic and leave?
It's like the human chastity belt.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, goodness. Maybe we should bring chastity belts back. Then they can at least be in the
Yeah,
same
then
room.
they can like sleep in the same room. They don't need babysitters. They just need somebody to watch the
They
kid.
don't need chaperones. Where's Kent when you
Yeah.
need him?
Right.
Oh, goodness.
Oh. All right. So
Yeah.
that brings this week to a close.
Yeah, this season's just getting warmed up. I'm excited about it.
I know. This is a lot more, right? This has 10 episodes, I think.
Yes, I think there's 10 in a tell-all.
And the tell-all.
So, yeah, this group got a tell-all, but the season 1 did not get a tell-all. Or at least if there was a tell-all, because I want to say I saw on Wikipedia that there was some kind of reunion, but I couldn't find it on any of these apps. So if one exists,
yeah.
I've never seen it.
It would have been super boring.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have.
There wasn't much to tell.
Yeah. Yes. Tell none. Is that what we usually
Yeah,
say?
exactly.
Tell very little.
Tell very little.
All right. Well, then we'll see you again for our new episode on Monday then.
All right. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Have a good weekend.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.